often hear a lot about shared service organisations in Australia falling largely into two camps. There are the big players, which Qantas is obviously cited amongst that list, and those who have global scope and scale, whereas obviously there is a major difference between those organisations and those that don't have the scope and scale. How would you define a true shared service centre, and what do you think the differences are in terms of the organisations who are able to play on that global field?
Yeah, very interesting question. I think in terms of those that are able to play on the global scale, it gives them an ability to access both providers in the space and technology that they may not otherwise be exposed to if they're just sitting within Australia and comparing themselves against other Australian organisations. I think importantly that exposure at a global level has caused companies to think and work through the value chain aspect of shared services. And really, I mean, shared services, you know, the three classic pillars are standardisation, automation and centralisation. And they're really good points to start a shared services organisation, but they're not the end game. Unless you really get to the value chain of an organisation, and you don't have to do the whole value chain at once, you don't even have to do every value chain at once, but you have to start, because that's where the true benefits for your customer and your organisation are. And studies have shown that 60% of the benefits of shared services are actually captured when you move to that next stage, which is the value chain stage.
And obviously Qantas has reached this stage now, but I'm sure you haven't reached this point without there being some key lessons and learnings that you've come across yourself. If you had to summarise that for people who are about to go on that journey, what would be the major thing that you would highlight to them?
Well, first, I think we're still on the journey. We haven't finished the journey by any stretch. Our target is to have looked through each of the value chains and completed that first sweep by the end of this calendar year. We will still have more work to do. I certainly don't want to declare victory yet. We've got a lot still to be done. In terms of some of the lessons learned, it's setting yourself realistic goals on the way through and holding yourself accountable to them. I think one of the smart things that we did was to leverage a balanced scorecard. What that did was drive performance. You know, there's a quote that talks about that leadership is doing the right things, that management is making sure that you execute the doing of the right things. And really what the balanced scorecard helps you do is, if you set it up properly, is to measure yourself against doing the right thing. I think one of the other lessons learned is that if you engage your workforce, they will help you. But you've got to provide a vision for the future. You know, how good can we be? What, you know, how should we look? What will the world look like for us? You know, in the new world, and make that something that they want to strive for. If they can do that, if you can do that with them, they will propel you through the journey probably faster than you expected that they would be able to. Certainly, I think one of the things that has helped us in that aspect has been using Lean and Six Sigma, and requiring all of our staff to go through white belt training. And really, in that one-day session, they talked about change. And I turn up to each of these sessions. We talk about change being a normal part of our daily life, and that work should be no different. There is no other aspect of your life that doesn't change on a regular basis. And, you know, allowing people the freedom to think that their work can change, and that might not be a bad thing, but it could actually be a really positive thing, helps take off some of the ties that bind them to, but we've always done it like this here.
And speaking of change, the last 6 to 9 months have been very interesting for everybody, certainly within the world of shared service and outsourcing. How's your strategy at Qantas been impacted by the economy? And what quick wins might you have initiated as a response to the current climate?
It's interesting because what we do in shared services is continually look at ways we can improve things. So because we had a pipeline of initiatives that we were working on to improve the way that we did work, so that we could deliver benefits for our customers in any case. What we were able to do was rack and stack those and say, what are the things that are going to achieve and deliver benefits in the next 12 months, and prioritise those. But we have this portfolio approach so that you can leverage that ability. In addition to that, we actually did a call to arms. So we actually went to the workforce and said, we're going through a difficult time. We need your collective input to help us find ways to save money for the company and for our customers. So we did a series of workshops that were voluntary participation. We had about 25% of our staff volunteer to come and give up their lunchtime and work through ways that we could save money. And out of those workshops, we came up with a long list of initiatives that we then went and found some more information about and racked and stacked those initiatives as well, and then were able to implement many of those initiatives to help save money straight to the bottom line. And then of course the customer value stream approach, which we're doing, helps us reduce the fragmentation and glue stuff together. And in fact, the nice thing about this now is we're having our customers come to us and say, here, I've got this little team of people, or I'm doing this in my business and I think you could do it better. Can we transfer this work into you so that it becomes part of the end-to-end value stream? And that for me is always a sign that your customers trust you enough to give you stuff that they were previously holding within their team. And all of those things have helped us join stuff together, lean stuff out, and really deliver bottom line savings to the company.